Hey YouTube, this is Stardust here, and I finally did it. I finally got that one missing card. I've been telling you guys for this the longest time. I even opened 3 booster boxes of Dimension Force, but we finally have Beyond the Pendulum. I just decided to buy it as a single, and it finally came in yesterday. So I'm here now doing you updated deck profile on my Pendulum Magician deck for August of 2022. Also on the note, I have been using a new playmat. This is actually my business play. If you guys don't know, I actually own a business called Metacomics. I sell Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I sell anime, pop figures, manga, collectible items on Mercari. But also I sell cards, like single cards, and maybe bulk cards, and then one sealed product so far on TCG Player. So yes, this is my new business plan. So whenever I upload stuff on Mercari, take pictures, stick me on this, and every once in a while when I'm recording videos for both channels, I do have a second channel for Magic the Gathering. If you guys Magic the Gathering, definitely go check it out. I think I have a link description to it called Malthraxis, and of course, you know, my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. But yep, I love this playmat. If you guys don't know, this is actually my logo placed on it. My sister designed it for me, and I just love it. Probably, maybe I might post a full picture of it, since now this is their first reel, on my Facebook page. If you don't follow my Facebook, definitely down below. I think it's down below there. I'm not for sure. But that's where I usually do updates and stuff, like when new videos are coming out or when I'm doing live stream stuff. So definitely want to check it out. But enough of me talking all about that, and let's get straight into what you guys are probably here for. That's my Pendulum Magician deck. This is my all-time favorite deck. This is the deck I took to regionals back in 2019. Not like same exact deck, that's of course there's newer cards and stuff. But I did do changes. I think I had some changes from last time. Like I said, I got Beyond Pendulum. Extra Pendulum came out, and I don't think last time I did deck profile I had Baron de Fleur, but now we have Baron de Fleur in here. So a lot of cool stuff in here. So, and also probably after this video, the next video, maybe, unless it's going to be a Power of the Elements box opening, might be, I'm going to do a test hand video, and that you can actually see the full playmat, so you can see how really pretty it is. And pretty much I'll just show you, what type of hands this thing can do and what type of boards this can produce. Like on turn 1, I'll show you guys. Maybe some combos, if I remember them. I'm not really good at combos, but I'll show you guys of that. But enough of me talking, and let's go straight into deck pro. So we're gonna go, and I'm gonna put the side deck somewhere else, but we're gonna go into the main deck. But I'm super happy I finally had that card. Alright, so first of all, you saw in the top, we have 3 Harmonizing Magician, one of the best cards ever. I am surprised they hit everything else for Pendulums. They hit Electromite, they hit Double Iris Magician, they hit Scrowback Joker, they hit like all that stuff, except they don't hit this, because I feel like this is like the best card ever. So it's a skill 8. You can use it in your skill, but mostly you're not going to. The main objective of this card is actually to Pendulum summon it from your hand. So then her effect will kick in and lets you summon any magician from your deck. Then from there, you can go into your Synchro plays, or Exceed plays, or Link plays. Sorry about that. But yes, this card's super awesome because you can go into Barlow Savage Dragon. Lately, actually, since now I did change deck, lately this is the card you want to do to go in your Baron de Fleur. You summon this, summon your Wolf Dragon Magician, because that's your only level 6, or if you have another level 6 Magician, and then you go into Baron de Fleur, so then you can protect yourself from Nibiru, because it's a good card for stopping it, or you're just setting him so you can stop your opponent's next turn. Or, of course, you can go into, like, if you need to search out Magician, you can definitely sacrifice it, go into Beyond the Pendulum, or you can go into Time Star Magician, search a Pendulum this way. So this card has so much versatility, it can let you Exceed, Synchro, and Link. And of course, it does have a pendulum effect. Isn't really important, but for a magician in your graveyard, you can boost your attack, your opponent's monsters by 100. So if you need to do some lethal damage, this card can help you get there. Alright, next up, of course, we kind of talked about it a little bit. We play, normally I used to play 2, but now I play 3 Ulf, is because we have Baron de Fleur, and Harmony does banish once you, the monster that you special summon from Harmonizing, once it leaves field is banished. So I decided to put one more, because, you still want to have enough to use for Baron, but this card is also your most important skill. It's your skill 2, and it lets you recycle Magicians from your grave. So let's say if you already synchro someone Harmonizing Magician, you put in skill, activate his effect, and then you can add Harmonizing back to your hand for a follow-up play. Or if you didn't use your normal summon, you can normal summon and go into another synchro or Exceed, whatever you need to. So this is a most important card. I decided to put 3 instead of 2 because, we use it for Baron de Fleur now. Next up, we play 3 Chronograph Sorcerers. I'm actually kind of thinking about taking this down to 2. It is kind of important, but not really too much. The only thing you mainly use it for is putting your scale. It pops itself, so then you can special summon Time Gazer Magician. So then you can go into your links before, so you can search your card before you Pendulum Summon. But I'm thinking about dropping this down and using another card. It's a card that came out in Dawn Majesty, where it's a spell card too. I'm thinking about taking out 1 and putting 1 more in, because Chronograph is important, but also not really. I think 2 would be fine if I drop it. But the spell card I'm talking about, I'm going to do some testing with it, and then maybe next time I do update on this, I might have it in here. But I want to do some testing with it first before I put it in here. But it's a card that lets you send any Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. So it works well with Ulf Dragon, where you can send it, and then you can just add, let's say you don't have a Harmonizing, but you can send a Harmonizing from your deck to extra, and then add him, add back Harmonizing, and then you can Pendulum Summon or something like that. Or you can send like Jackal King, so then when you Pendulum Summon, you have another negate on board. So I'm thinking about dropping down to 1, but for now we're just going to play 3. Also, he is a scale 8, so you can. Also, whenever your Pendulum monsters get destroyed, he can, you can bust them, special summon out. It's like Astrograph Sorcerer. Alright, next we play 3 Performer House Scrowbat Triggers. Amazing card. This is pretty much the Stratos of the deck. This is pretty much your only normal summon. And also it's a scale 8. If you need to use it as a scale, most of the time you don't. You just normal summon it, get whatever Magician or whatever Pendulum card you need, and then you can, go from there, do your combos and stuff. Sadly, I wish I had 2 more supers. Sadly, I only have 1. Next up, we play 2 Double Iris Magician. Now, this is your kind of like your more primary, scale 8. So what this card does is that whenever it's destroyed, you can actually search your time, or you can search your star. So this gets you to your trap card and your spell card. That's really important. Definitely get the trap card first, because it's another interruption. Plus it's a scale 8, so you can do stuff with it. And you can pop himself by targeting another magician on your field that's dark, and it will pretty much have auto effect where it do double damage. But mostly you just want it to destroy it, so you can get your time and star Pendulum Graph. Next up, we play 2 Design Magician, one of the best cards ever. So this card, I do notice someone did mention this. I think it was Tripped. This card's not once per turn, so you can use this over and over. It's freaking fun using a Master Duel. If you haven't seen my stream, I've done it so many times with this card. This card is pretty much your scale searcher. So if you have a magician in the other scale, you can put him there. He pops himself, and then you can search your double iris magician, or you can search your high scale, or you need to search for Ulf Dragon. What makes this even cooler is that if you have Star Pentagraph, whenever he pops himself to add, your magician that you need for your scale, Star Pentagraph will automatically go off because you shred it, and then you can add like Harmonizing. So let's say you're trying to get your skills ready for a Pendulum Summon, but you don't have Harmonizing, pop him, boom, Star Pentagraph, and then you get Harmonizing. And then you can do your combos from there. And also, like I said, this is not once per turn, so what you can do is you can use time, pop a card, destroy a monster, and then let's say you can put him in there, activate his effect, lets you search a thing, then you can activate Ulf, add it back to your hand, pop the card again or something like that, and then you can add him back and you can use him again. This card's freaking busted. I wish I had a higher printing, but sadly it does not. Next up, we got 2 Poison Magician. Now this card, you don't really use it as your scale 1, but every once in a while you do, because it can double your dark monster attack, so you need to go for lethal. But the most fun part with this is when you team up with Time, because Time pops a card. So when this card is ever popped in the Pendulum scale, you can pop another card, or if it's on the monster field, it can pop another card. So with Time, you can pretty much pop 2 cards at once with this. So you can use Time, pop, let's say you just normal summon this, activate Time, pop this, so this is destroyed, target any card, let's say I have a set card, destroy it, and let's say they also have a face of monster, then purple poison will activate, then you pop that. You got rid of 2 cards by just popping this. That is a scale 1, so if you do need a scale, you can use it for a scale, and then you can just use the ability, boost the monster, and then get your proper scale in, and then of course she can clear off the thing. She's freaking awesome. Alright, then we play 2 Blackfang. So this is your other scale 8 if you need to, but mostly you're not going to use it as your scale 8. But this card is just good for, special summoning off Harmonizing, so you can do your Synchro 8 plays, or you can just go Exceeds. But also, if you do need to use it for your scale, it pretty much, like, let's say if you have a monster your opponent is too strong, you can't go over, you can pop him in your scale, and then you can actually target that monster and have it. And also he has another cool ability, so if you have a magician in your graveyard when he's popped, you can pretty much bring it back onto the battlefield, so then you can use it either for a link, exceed, or, what, or just, you know, have it there so you can have extra attack power. This card's pretty good. Then we play with the non-magicians. We play two best actor Raiser. So this is pretty much like a starter card. Pretty much you put in your scale. It controls no monsters. You can special summon it. Then you can like normal summon Scroll Back Joker, search a magician, sack them off, go into Beyond Pendulum, get the main magician you need, so you can do your Pendulum summon. So this is pretty much what it is. Also, you can also use this mostly for like Exceed summoning if you need to. Can't really use it with Synchro because Harmonizing can only do with magicians, but you can use it for Exceed summon, go into like Time Thief Redoer or whatever else you need. But this is pretty much your starter, pretty much to start you off, so then you can start doing your plays. Then we play two Mystical Jackal King. This card's also a great card against Nibiru because whenever you, and also since you're playing deck all spells, a lot of spells, and your opponent can be playing a lot of spells, he gets two counters and he can pretty much negate a monster effect. So pretty much just a monster negator, plus he's 2400, so he's a pretty beefy boy. I used to use him with Cerberus, but I took out Cerberus because, I mean, I don't know. Cerberus is good, but I'm not for sure. Then, of course, we play our one Astro Sorcerer. I'm super happy to have this back because this came off, I think, the previous list. Actually, this card's freaking awesome because it works so well with those cards that pop them each other. Because whenever a card is popped, you can actually special summon him, and then you can add that card that was just popped. So let's say I have this in my hand, and I have Wolf Dragon, and I can activate pop it, and then, of course, you know, search whatever, and then I can activate his effect, special summon him, and then I can add another Wismai to my hand, so then, let's say I'm preparing a Pendulum summon, I have that extra Wismai, or like I said, since Wismai is not once per turn, you can play time, pop the card that you just sat there, like Double Iris, and search your star if you only had time, and then from there you can activate, you know, Wismai, and then redo your whole scale thing. This guy's just freaking awesome, plus he uses 25 basic. Usually I like to have on the field, but I just need a big, you know, Spellcaster monster to activate Spellcaster the village, so then we can lock our opponent out of spells. Good card. And also it's a scale 1 if you need to, but you barely use it. And of course, a new card I added this. I actually never used this in my real deck, but I have been using on Master Duel. Is Perform Palace Celestial Envision. Actually, I recently pulled this from the Legendary Duels, you know, Season 3 pack. This card is really good because it does so many things. It's more fun when you have an Exceed monster, but mainly what you want to use it for is when it's Pendulum Summon, or I think normal summon, you can activate the effect at the end of the phase. It lets you search a Pendulum monster. But also has other abilities, like if you have a Synchro monster on the field, of course you have access to Synchro summoning, all your opponent's card effects are negated, and I think so. And then when you control Exceed monster, he gains like 3,000, becomes a beefy boy. Plus also he is a magician, so you can use him in the skill 8 if you need to, and he's a level 4, so you can do your Synchro plays, your Exceed plays, but mostly you just use this to add any other magician you need, but also he become a big boy if you have an Exceed monster on the field, so he's good for ending games. And then our last monster card is Time Gazer. Of course, you use this with Chronograph, where you pop Chronograph, either special summon it or put in your scale, but we only play one. Alright, on to spells. We play two Polyzars. I'm super happy to have this back. I was kind of sad when we got the one. Good draw power. We play a lot of duplicates, so just banish 10, draw 2 cards. So we have more gas, and also it's a spell card, so we have like Jackal King, gets counters on it, so then, you know, we can do stuff. We play 2 Lair of Darkness, of course, more draw power. Almost all our magicians are darks, so why not just banish, like, if you have Time Gazer in your hand, but you don't have Chronograph, just banish Time Gazer and draw 2 cards, and hopefully get some cards that can make you do stuff. Wish I had one more Ultra. Sadly, I did not pull that Ultra. Next up, we play 2 Pendulum Call. This is an extremely good card. I wish I had another super of this one too. But what this card does is pretty much you discard a card and you can add 2 magicians to your hand. And a lot of people that don't know, because I've been using this as a Master Duel, and so many people tried Heartbeast, Feather Duster, just popping it, your cards cannot be destroyed. That's the only downside, because you want your cards destroyed, but it is still good because you can add, let's say you don't have the right scales, this can automatically add Harmonizing or Wolf Dragon to your hand. Know that is pretty good because it kind of does work with time, because time says you can target one of your cards and your opponent's card, so your opponent's card automatically be destroyed, yours won't be destroyed, and if a card's not destroyed, you can send a card. So this card works really well with time, because your card can't be destroyed, but you got rid of opponent's card, and then you can just send another card. So you can, it's kind of like Purple Poison, where you can destroy 2 cards. The only thing, you destroy 1 card, and you send the other card. So let's say if there's a card that says cannot be destroyed by battle, just send it. Awesome card, though. But yeah, I only play 2, because it kind of stops from your cards being destroyed. That's the only sad part. It doesn't work well with Electromite on Master Duel too well. Next up, we play 2-star. Of course, this is one of your cards you know, it's awesome when your cards are destroyed or when you use them as link material or synchro, sadly not exceed. Because whenever a magician leaves the field, you can just add a magician from your deck to hand, so it's your automatically searcher. So pretty much this is a card you want to get out as fast as possible if you can. You can do that easily with double Iris Magician because it automatically can search it and you can play it. Okay, new cards. I'm super happy I got 2 from my boxes. I play Extra Pendulum. I play 2 of them. I don't know, I did test 1, but I think 2's good because this definitely helps with Beyond Pendulum, because if you can't Pendulum summon, if you had to Pendulum summon and then get Beyond the Pendulum to get the card you need, you can't activate and gain your effects, but if you have Extra Pendulum, it lets you re-Pendulum again. But mostly I see potential in this card because it lets you so you can extend further. Pretty much, let's say you build your board, but you have like Selene, where you have 3 extra arrows, because this can only summon from your extra deck, and you have loads of Magician in your extra deck. Bring them back out, and then you can go into more Exceed monsters, go into Axis Code, a bigger Link monster. Just pretty much helps you so you can do more stuff. It pretty much is like a second Pendulum summon. Super good card. Might drop down to 2 maybe. Maybe I might replace that with the, that one card I was telling you about. Next up, we play 2 Secret Village of Spellcasters. This is our Floodgate. Pretty much it stops your opponent. So if we control a Spellcaster monster, our opponent can't play no spell cards. This card helped me win against Skyscrapers, because Skyscrapers is all about spell cards. This is my Mystic Mind of the deck. Pretty much. It's such a good card. I really wish I had the OTS Supers. Sadly, I do not have them. But that's a fun card. Next up, we play 1 Duelist Alliance, because, this can help us search our time, our star. It can even search double Iris, and it can search Extra Pendulum. So pretty much it's a good card to get whatever card that we need to do our full combo and not. Terraforming, of course, because we do play a field spell when we want to lock our opponent out. So much fun. Next up, our traps. We play 2 time. This is one of the best cards ever. Like I said, it's good removal, it's good interruption. You can do so many things with it. It's just so fun to use this card, just get rid of your opponents. Plus, also, since if you have Oath, you can pop a card, a Pendulum Magician here, and then you activate Oath, add it backhand, and you can just normal summon again. And, of course, you got rid of your opponent's monster. And, of course, like I said, with Time, it's just so great because you can just, well, not Time, but Pendulum Call, you can just send a card. It doesn't matter what. If it's like Dragoon, you can just send it. Of course, if they already used their negate, because you activate this and they haven't used negate, they're of course going to negate this. But this is one of the best cards for Pendulum Magicians. And of course, our last card, because we do play that field spell and our opponent's not going to see that coming. So we're going to set this. Let's say you don't have Terraforming, you never had it in your hand. Set this, opponent's turn, activate it. Now your opponent can't play any spell cards. Good card. Mystic Mind put this to 1, sadly. I would love to see this come off, but I don't think it ever will. Alright, now time for the extra deck. So, first off, we got Time Star Magician. Really, telling you honestly, I haven't used this card too much, but now in Master Duel, I kind of use it a lot. This card's good. Definitely, like I said, if you need to search that one Magician you need, this guy's because you can add a card Magician from your deck, your graveyard, or your extra deck. So it can let you, whatever you need to get, either if you put like a card in your graveyard by discarding a Pendulum Call, or from the extra deck, or, the normal way, you just get it from your deck that you need. Also, this card can detach and protect your Magicians from being destroyed too. So this is actually not a bad card. Next up, we have Abyss Dweller. I think I ever took this card out, but this card's going to be super great in this format, coming up with Splight and Tier Elements, because this card can just shut anything with the graveyard. Just shut it down, so they won't be able to use any pesky stuff. Also, this is good against Phantom Knight. Sadly, I don't think Phantom Knight's too popular right now. Then we play Once Recruiting Dragon Dark Rebellion. Really wish this had a holo printing. The highest rarity is a rare. But this card's freaking game ending. It's pretty much like an Axis Code Talker. So pretty much what you do is you exceed summon it, attack an opponent's monster. Let's say they have higher attack points than you. Then he gains all their attack points and your opponent's monster becomes 0. And you just punch him in the face real hard. This card's so good for ending games. Not only that, also it's good for defense if your opponent can't get rid of it. Because whenever they attack into it, you can do the same thing. So, if they don't know about that ability where they attack into it, yeah, people have done that in Master Duel. This card's crazy. I have been thinking about maybe putting this to 2, because in Master Duel I have 2. Because it's such a good card. I really wish it had a holo printing. Then we play Tornado Dragon. Back row removal. to deal with it in our, monsters, but we do have some back row removal on our side deck. I'm not going to go in side deck because, a side deck can be your locals, whatever it is, so I don't really. But yes, this is still good if you need, removal right away. And then we play Castiel. Yes, I still play this card. This card's an old card, but I still play it because it's still a great card. So let's see if your opponent has a threat on the field. Just shuffle it back. Just get rid of it, pretty much. Next up, of course, we play Borrowed Savage Dragon, because we do play Lynx. And he's a good form of negation, plus he can get really strong. But mostly we just use him for negation. And then, of course, the new card, I'm super happy I pulled this from my box, is Baron de Fleur. Of course, you probably all know what Baron de Fleur does. It pretty much, negates stuff, and then you can destroy a card on the field. So it can remove something, and of course, you use it for negation. And this is a good card to get out before you start doing, more summoning, so you can stop Nibiru from messing up your day, because Pendulum Magicians are weak against Nibiru. Next up, we got Supreme Clearing. So this is pretty much like a Regeki, but on a monster. So when he's summoned, this is another card I wish that I had a hollow printing too. When he's summoned, you just destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. So pretty much it clears the board, so then you can just OTK them or not. Or you can just use it as bait and negation to stop, from their cards being destroyed. Okay, next up we have our Link monsters. So we have one Access Code Talker. You know why. Pendulum Magicians can easily go into Link 4s, and this card is a game ender. It's kind of like the other. It's kind of like Supreme King King Rebellion Dragon, that one. But this one can, of course, you can remove any Link monster in your grave with different attribute, destroy a card, so it can clear off boards, and it becomes pretty beefy. So good card for ending games. And of course, I still play the cheap version. Borrowed Dragon does the same thing as Access Code. You can target a monster, turn it defensive, and then he can attack twice. Plus, also when he attacks opponent's monster, pretty much your opponent's monster loses some attack and then gains half the attack, so he can become a beefy boy. But mostly you just use him to end games too. And then we play One Sling, of course. Awesome card for, has an awesome link arrow, so if you need to use it. But also it's really good for, extending your plays to go into like Borrowed Savage Dragon or something like that. Because you can take off counters and actually summon like a magician from your hand. So if you have any extra magicians and you already use your normal and pendulum, you can easily get out. If you have extra materials on the board, then you can do your links or your synchros. Also, it gains counters for each spell card you have. So it works really well if we had Jackal King. So let's say you don't have no way to activate spells. Just go into her, she gets counters, and you can pass your turn. And then you can use her counters for Jackal King's effect to get monster effects. So really good. And of course, the card I just got today, I'm so excited I finally have one. Took me 3 booster boxes and paying $6 to get it. Is Beyond the Pendulum. Of course, this is a new card that came out at same set as Extra Pendulum Difo. So this is pretty much our new version of Electromite, because we still don't have Electromite, sadly. So pretty much what you want to do with this card is Link Summon it first before you Pendulum Summon, unless you have Extra Pendulum, then you don't have to worry about that. But pretty much you want to Link Summon this first, and you can search any magician you need. Of course, you do have to pay $1,200. But it's probably going to be worth it. But you have to be careful with this card. Like I said, it's not exactly kind of great. It's like a weaker version of Electromite, but still it's something better than nothing. Till, of course, hopefully we get Electromite back. But pretty much what her ability is that you can search, but all your monsters, including your Pendulum monsters, are all negated unless you Pendulum Summon. Then once you Pendulum Summon, your effects can be activated again. So you have to be super careful with this. Also, if you decide to leave it on the battlefield, whenever you Pendulum Summon 2 monsters, I think with different levels, right? Yeah, different levels. Different original levels, you can actually pop 2 cards. So it's a good way for getting rid of the board. But mainly you're just going to use it to search before you actually do your main Pendulum Summon. So you have to be careful with this. Still an awesome card though. Then we play one dark, the Dark Charmer, because, all the decks use dark monsters. None of that. I know not much people are playing Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer anymore because, Verte got banned. But it's still a good card. Just take any dark monster from your opponent's deck. Plus, it's a good link too. Plus, we have darks too, so it's pretty much like a Monster Reborn. Then we play a 1B Cup from the Underworld. Don't really use this ability. I just use it to link off and go into lane or, Access Code. Something bigger. But if you do need to use this effect, you can tribute a monster And then you can put a patrol counter on your card, so whenever that card's destroyed, you take off the patrol counter, and it pretty much protects your monsters from being destroyed. So it's not that bad. I haven't really used that ability too much. Like I said, I just use it for link climbing. And of course, our last card is Nightmare Phoenix, because it's another form of removal. And it's just a link 2 that we can go off to. But mostly we just use it to get rid of a pesky trap, spell, or whatever we need to. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to do a test hand video later down. Probably maybe after, after, maybe, I'm not for sure when, but maybe after when I open some Power of the Elements, because I went to go to a pre-release. Sadly, I didn't get any, so I'm sorry for you guys. I was looking forward to opening them last weekend, but they were sold out, sadly. So hopefully this Friday, when it officially comes out, I'm going to get me a box. So I'm going to open it for you guys. So that's why I don't know when that video is going to happen, but just look forward to it. It's coming sooner or later, but I'm definitely want to show you guys what this deck can do, how powerful it is. And yes, I don't use Scythe. I don't use the Scythe lock. I know a lot of Pendulum players do play Scythe in it. I know it's a good combo, but kind of don't want to play something like that. I want to play more of a... It's still, I mean, this deck can still do good without Scythe. That's kind of like I want to do, is like more casual, you can say, but still competitive. Well, I don't have to use Scythe and all that stuff. But yeah, it's more of a fun Pendulum deck, I assume. I'm not for sure, but it's fun for me to play. I love this deck anyways. My all-time favorite deck, but... Yep, I just want to show you guys how, what it can do in the test hand video and all that stuff. And, yeah, hope you guys like this video, like this deck profile. Definitely subscribe, because like I said, I'm going to do the test hand video, do Power of the Elements opening, hopefully more videos come in the future, more deck profiles. Thinking about working on an Endymion deck, so look forward to that maybe. Also, I do live streams every Saturday, 9 p.m. to 11. We do live streams of Master Duel, so... Still climbing up the ranks, and I'm still working on the Battle Pass right now. Probably be done by this stream on Friday. But yeah, I have a lot more stuff. Also, like the video, it really helps. Also, share this video with your friends, your grandma, girlfriend, boyfriend, your dad, mom, your cousin, somewhere else. Just share it. It really helps out spread the community, helps the algorithm and all that stuff. Also, click the bell icon so whenever I do my live streams or whenever I do a new updated deck profile, you will be notified straight away. And also, don't forget to check out my business. I do have links down below, so definitely check out my TCG player and member card. It really helps out the channel. Whatever you buy there goes into the channel and helps me grow. So I definitely appreciate your guys' support. Anyways, guys, probably talked long enough, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.